Man, Wes, we haven't even started the episode and we're already getting objections to what we're doing today. Rhodey, the Game Cat Army General, says, we were promised missing in action PSVR2 games. I protest.
Missing in action? Are those the ones that were supposed to come but haven't yet? Is that what that means?
Yeah, or never will. Oh. And I've been putting a lot of feelers out about an episode for this. I've been texting and DMing and emailing people I haven't talked to in literally years. And I'll tell you, Wes, the responses haven't been amazing.
Yeah, I can imagine. So, because, if the news was good, we would have already heard it, right?
For the most part, yeah. There's a couple that are like, oh, we were just too ambitious, and like, well, we're still planning on coming to PSVR2. So there's a lot of that, but there's definitely a lot of like, oh, you didn't hear? We shut down a year and a half ago. It's like, oh man. So the VR is a tough space right now, and it's a good reminder. It's a good reminder. You got to support the games that you like. Oh, good, Brody. Thank you so much. I was about to point out that review for Ruins Magus. I do not recommend. Although maybe Wes has something different to say about Ruins Magus today. Maybe that's a hidden.
No,
gem.
I think I liked Ruins Magus. I mean, it's not great, not likely to be on the top 50 list or what have you, but I think it's good in doses, right? Like, it's not a game you're going to sit down and put 10 hours in a row into. But if you do an hour here and an hour there, it's actually pretty good fun, especially if you're a fan of that whole like genre, right? Because there aren't a lot of offerings in that whole kind of like JRPG space.
Yeah.
And while that isn't like a technically by definition JRPG, there are a lot of like of those feels you get when you're playing it. So
yeah, I could definitely
it's definitely a unique title. Yeah, it's definitely a unique title. It's pretty fun. It is a bit repetitive if you play it for some time.
Yeah, probably if you play it like I did for review, and it was like, this is all I'm playing this week.
Exactly, and there's a lot of games that are like that, right? That are good games, but if you try to push through them, you lose your taste for them quickly.
For sure. All right, man. I think it's probably time to get this show started. You ready to go?
Indeed.
Let's go. Oops, sirens on my end. This is PSVR GamesCast Live, where we film live every single Monday, WesDay, and 2 Eyes Friday right here on YouTube. We do it live, 6 p.m. Eastern for your viewing pleasure, but we also care oh so very much about that oral pleasure of yours. That's why we put it up on podcast services of your choice. God, I hope I remembered to put up Monday's episode. It's so easy to forget, Wes, and then just like days go by and you're like, oh, I never did that? Crap. I used to have other people do it for me, and I can do this. No, I can't. My name is Brian Paul from this channel right here without Parole, and this gentleman over here to my left, your right. I still don't know if that's right. It's Wes Dillon from Virtual Strangers. Hey, Wes.
Hello, Brian. Hello, Game Cats. I definitely have people who, on the rare occasion we do an episode, put it up on audio platforms for me. But I don't know if you've had this recently, but Spotify, for whatever reason, has come back and gone through the entire Virtual Strangers catalog and put copyright claims on like half of them for my outro music, which is free to use, but apparently someone has claimed it, and I've had to instruct my assistant, shout out Chinatown D. I've had to instruct D to go back and refute all of it because it's bullcrap.
No, I actually have not experienced anything like that. But what I did experience was that I used to make the bare minimum amount of ad revenue on Spotify. Like, it was literally like for the entire year. So we're talking like 150 episodes. I used to make like $100 a year on Spotify.
Oh yeah.
And they've changed all of those requirements. And so now I won't be making money on Spotify, any money, even $100 a year for like literally years, unless the podcast blows up somehow. And so, I mean, like, if you guys want to, give it a shot, we can try to get me monetized over there again, but it's just going to require about, 10 times the number of weekly listeners than we have. It's just like, I don't know, man. It's not even worth it's not even worth the call to action for me to be like, please, 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 everybody go, just so that I can make like $2 extra a week.
Yeah, I've never made a dime on audio, but they were taking the episodes down. They weren't just
Crazy.
like keeping ad revenue. They didn't want the episodes up at all. So the first couple of times I was just like, screw it. It's an old episode. No one's listening anyway. But then like when they started flagging dozens of them, I was like, look, just refute it, say it's not true, and we'll see what happens. So I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good luck with that. And don't apologize to me in the chat. Old Dart says Virtual Strangers has the best intro and outro music. Sorry, Brian. Listen, I didn't write any of the music on my channel. You know, I just bought the license for the ones that I liked and used it. So yeah, don't you worry about a thing. Every little thing will be all right. Also goes to show how fucking difficult it is to make money on a platform like this. I can't remember the last time I put out a video that didn't get a copyright claim that caused me to, you know, to be able to actually make money on a video. I spent 3 days on the upcoming games video, and that got monetized or demonetized for 5 different claims. And it was all right. I do not have the time or energy to go back in and re-edit that and re-upload it. I'm sorry, it's just not happening. So 5 other people are making money on that video, and none of them are me.
Yeah, anytime we do trailers with audio, we get hit every time. So.
Bro, I don't know if you guys can hear that. It's just like nonstop. There's like a motorcycle gang like going past my window like right now. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Ah, man. Anyway, how you been? You okay? Things going well? How's the channel?
We haven't been doing much on the channel. I'm trying to get an episode out. Probably will within the next 7 days. I don't like missing 2 weeks in a row, and we missed this week. So, but I mean, things are going well. I'm just same old with me. You know, busy at work, getting ready for things, getting ready for things that are happening soon, and that's pretty much it, man. Just head down, plugging away, working pretty much.
The only thing I like better than things, Wes, are things that are happening soon. So you have my full support. I can't wait to hear about it all. You guys probably know this. I try not to ask Wes about anything that's happening behind the scenes because I want to be surprised just like all of you. I want those moments of elation and joy and positivity about PSVR2 when the time is right. I don't want to hear about it like a month before and then be like, oh, yeah, it's old news by the time it actually happens. So I'm probably more excited than most, Wes.
Cool things are happening, and I don't just mean flat to VR, but things in general. And you know, summer tends to be a slow time, but there are bright spots that tend to pop up here and there. And I'll say that generally, there should be a bright spot coming up relatively soon.
I like bright spots. Cool. All right, man. Let's get this thing fucking rolling. We got a lot to talk about. I was wondering what you'd think of introducing a new segment onto the channel, onto GAMESCAST, Wes, and I'd like to call it the hero of the day.
Yeah, I was hoping you were gonna get the rah at the end.
Yeah, we didn't talk about it ahead of time. I actually wanted to ask you to do the rah. I hadn't heard that song in probably 20 years, and then I just listened to it recently because Awesome Tatum was I don't know, he quoted it or something, and I was like, oh man, I want to hear that song. And it was almost funny how frequently James Hetfield does the rah. And I was like, what? How do I not remember this? It's almost comical. And so now I kind of get a giggle every single time I hear the words hero of the day. But we got today's hero of the day. Here it is. I'm going to bring it up right here. Martin Griffiths from... Oops, that's not it. That's the clip of the week. Hold on. It's around here somewhere. There it is. Martin Griffiths from Hello Games. He is the guy basically responsible for the PSVR2 version of No Man's Sky. And he posted this right before we went live. He said, hashtag No Man's Sky Beacon 5.75 is releasing now on all platforms. Amongst the other fixes, it contains a fix for a PSVR2 only bug that was exceptionally difficult to track down. I probably spent more than 15 hours on this one, which caused flickering on some types of grass and trees. How insane is this, that it's a PSVR2 specific problem? And this dude was just able to spend 2 full work days tracking down and fixing the problem. You almost never hear about this kind of stuff, Wes. But I think it must go to show Hello Games' commitment and desire to continue improving their game on PSVR2. Otherwise, they wouldn't have fucking bothered, right?
Generally, just their commitment to improving their game, generally speaking, whether it's PSVR2 or anywhere else, man, these guys are in a class of their own when it comes to ongoing support for their game. So much so that our yearly award that we give out for best ongoing support of a VR game is called the Hello Games Award, because we were giving it to them every year, and we're like, you know what, we can't just give them an annual award. We'll just name the award for them so that they're always forever recognized for the work that they're doing. And this is a perfect example of exactly what we're talking about. Like, most studios, if they just had certain types of grass that flicker on one platform, are just going to say, screw it, man. The grass just flickers on that platform sometimes. And this guy, just such a perfectionist. They have such a level of care for their title that they didn't let it stand, man. They kept tracking it down and eventually found it and squashed it. So kudos to this guy. What was his name? Martin Griffiths.
Yep.
Kudos to Martin Griffiths and Hello Games for being awesome.
Rah! I think we have to do that for each of our heroes of the day. So very cool, and this kind of stuff gives me a lot of hope for Light No Fire. Hoping that if they care this much about spending that much time on fixing one small bug on PSVR2, that they're putting so much time into their engine and into what they're doing over there, that Light No Fire. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't even want to throw this out there, but you think it could potentially launch with PSVR2 support, or do you think that's something that's just going to come later on?
Don't know. I doubt it, man. Like, launch with, I mean, maybe it is getting to the point now where VR support is something that's easier for developers to implement right away, because VR is not new anymore, right? Like, it's been around. So, a lot of the groundwork that people had to do in previous generations has already been done. So maybe, I don't know. I wouldn't expect it. But it would be cool if it did support PSVR2 right away. I expect, I don't know what to expect, because the story of No Man's Sky is of a developer that was way too ambitious for what their team was able to deliver. They delivered a game that was widely ridiculed and became a meme. It was such a terrible launch that No Man's Sky was a joke for a couple of years, but they just stuck to it, and they made it into something acceptable, and then into something good, and then into something great. And it persists as one of the best in any catalog, flat or VR. So yeah, part of me hopes that they repeat that, that maybe their ambitions are a little too high again, and that they end up over the course of the next 5 to 7 years working into their original vision, so to speak.
Well, I think people are going to be a lot more accepting this time around if the game launches and it's a little underwhelming, right? Because you're like, oh, well, we know what Hello Games is capable of. We know what they're willing to do. We know that they're willing to put in the work for the next decade to make this the game that we want it to be. And I think a lot of people like being there for that journey. So I don't think they're going to get crucified nearly like they did with No Man's Sky and need to have this redemption story. People will just be like, well, this is just what they do now. This is how they operate. And it'll be fine. I don't know. I'm hopeful. I really want Light No Fire to be good. As everybody knows, I feel like it's just way too late for me to get into No Man's Sky. I've tried and tried it. Every time I've jumped in, I was like, I'm so lost. And I just need somebody to kind of, I want somebody to take me by the hand, but I simultaneously don't. When that didn't work out so well in Minecraft, it didn't work out so well in other games. Because I want to learn it all on my own, but it's just like hundreds of hours. I think that.
Yeah, it's too much game for me.
Yeah, it might be too much game, which is an awesome compliment to give any game. Yeah. Speaking of a lot to take in and having people take you by the hand. Last night I spent some time with Ghost of Tabor. We got some Ghost of Tabor heads in the chat. I know that. And I'm very curious to know if the issues that I experienced last night, just trying to get a game started, is common at all. But man, we just experienced endless bugs for like over a half an hour, just trying to squad up and trying to start a game. And it was kind of messy. It'll be interesting to see if, like, jumping in with more experienced people, if like they know how to navigate these things, or if they if they're aware of these things and know what to do when they pop up. However, we persisted, and this is the game from last night. This is the first round we played. This is me, AJ, and Awesome Tatum going into the mall. And I'd never even seen the mall level. That's how little I've played since launch. I've put about 4 or 5 hours into the island of Tabor when it first launched, and that's it. Never even saw the mall. And I fucking love the mall. Like, we were doing PvE, right? We weren't really, like, we were a little bit nervous getting our feet wet, I think. But man, I had so much fun in here, and I was blown away by the level of detail in this environment. These Ghost of Tabor environments are gigantic. But the mall specifically is a little more enclosed, so I think they were able to put more detail into each of the shops and the restaurants and all the stuff that you see as you're walking through. And I just really enjoyed it. You're going to see me struggling, I'm sure, constantly here. But it was, this is again me getting in there for the very first time in months. And so the struggle, I completely expected there to be a struggle. But I gotta love him. I gotta say, man, I fucking love it. I really do, and I'm excited to play more. I'm gonna play more tonight and tomorrow night and the next night, and hopefully keep playing it. So this does not become another No Man's Sky for me.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I have put some time into Ghost of Tabor, but it was early access on PC. Ghost of Tabor, like, I haven't played a lot of it on PSVR2. There are multiple levels now that I've never even tried. And the mall is one of those. So I'm a bit intrigued. Honestly, how are the environments like totally destructible? Like, can you shatter glass everywhere? I mean, I would assume so, right?
I think so. I don't know. These are things that I did not test out. Actually, no, I take it back, because I think the next mission we had done on the island of Tabor, I got up to the radio station, and there was a guy hanging out in the lobby of the late radio station, and I was shooting him through the glass door. And I don't know if the glass like actually fell and shattered, but it did break.
I used to hang out in malls. I come from a small town, so like that's all we had to do was go hang out at the mall every week.
Yeah.
So I am particularly fond of games like what was the zombie game that took place in the mall? I forget now. Anyway, I like mall levels, so it's cool to hear that they put one in this game.
Yeah. Also, just like really satisfying, I think, in terms of like being able to when you actually find your extraction point and you've got a backpack full of really cool stuff that you're like, I can't wait to bring this back and fucking utilize it and shit. It's cool. It's very cool. It does something that no other game on PSVR2 does. And I saw somebody in the chat asked if it's better. There it is. It's free VR real estate. Asked if it's better than Firewall Ultra, and the answer is absolutely. Like, it's just a great game all around. So yeah, I think this is an important game to have, and I'm really, really glad that I'm starting to spend some time with it and starting to get comfortable with it. I'm still very awkward and everything, and remembering when to use L2 and R2 instead of L1 and R1. It's done for a reason, but it hasn't clicked in my brain yet, so I do a lot of stupid stuff on accident. I still don't know where the switches on the gun. Some of them don't have clear markings as to when which one has it means the safety is on, which one is a burst, which one's a single shot fire. So sometimes I just have to flip the switch and go Okay, it's on. It works now. The safety's off. So stupid shit like that. But yeah.
For me, it's always like trying to figure out which bullets go in which gun. Like that's one of the big sticking points for me in that game. And that and the backpack, trying to fit stuff in the backpack because it looks at first like it's going to be like Into the Radius style, right, where you can just stack all sorts of shit in there, but it's not. They don't just let you endlessly put stuff in the backpack. You have to like make it fit. There's geometry you have to take into consideration, and it's aggravating. It's annoying because this is a game where getting distracted for 30 seconds will get you shot and killed. So like, yeah, when you're fiddling around with things like ammo and backpacks and stuff, those are typically your last moments.
Yeah, it's I agree. For whatever reason, Into the Radius does just kind of work better, for lack of better explanation. It just every you can kind of shove stuff in and it just sort of works. This is a lot more finagling and being like, well, if I move this over a quarter of an inch, do I now have room for this? But I do like this style of backpack system, whether it's this version of it or Into the Radius, because it all kind of feels like the VR version of Leon Kennedy's backpack that we all did in Resident Evil 4, right? But you did on a flat screen and you're rotating things and blah blah blah. It feels like the VRAF version of that, and I'm always down, man. I'm down for innovation. I thought Saints and Sinners was really cool, like with the individual slots. That makes things really easy, but this adds a whole nother dimension to that, and I like it. Anyway, I'll be keeping you guys posted on everything. So I'm trying to keep up with the chat, and it sounds like somebody had an issue with a super chat. So I'm going to look into that in just a second. But first, shout out to Thundercat, who sent 5 Without Parole gift memberships. Thank you very much for that, Thundercat. I did change the channel name back to PSVR2 Without Parole after lots of people complained. How will they ever know what kind of content you do, Brian? I don't know.
They can click on the channel, find out. Or they could look at the title of the video and find out. Yeah.
Every single channel I subscribe to, the channel name does not define the content that's on it. But you know what? I do want to make the channel easier to find for people. PSVR2, I really stand by the fact that PSVR2 is a movement, and that we're trying to do something very special here. And if like calling the channel Without Parole makes it harder to find people, for people who are interested in knowing everything about PSVR2, then fucking who cares? I'll change it back to PSVR2 Without Parole. That's fine by me.
Put the space in there, Brian?
Fuck the space. That space is sacrilege. I do not believe in spaces. Sun WTF with the $5 tip says server connection bug in Tabor, easy fix but annoying. Devs are aware. The fix is load into the bunker fully, close the game, reload the bunker. No connection issues. Oh, hold on a second. Load into the bunker fully, close the game, reload the bunker. No connection issues. All right. Sirens on my end. That sounds stupid, but I'm glad that there's again an easy workaround, as I assume there was, because I never hear people complaining about it. So that's really good to know.
How do you figure that out? That's interesting.
Yeah, right. I'm wondering if the devs had to say it, or if dude, gamers are persistent. Gamers are resilient, if nothing else. They will they'll experiment until they find something that works. When there's a game, this is a lot like Phasmo. A lot like Phasmo. It's so hard to recommend Phasmo to people, right? Because you're like, oh man, for the first 5 to 10 hours you play, good luck opening doors and figuring out how to pick up items or use items the right way. But then, like, for the rest of us who have been playing it for a while, it's like not even an issue. Like, we forget that those things are an issue, right? You just get into the habit of doing things a particular way. So I kind of see the correlation here.
I think that's a shared trait for all early VR adopters, right? All of us that have been in VR since the start, especially PSVR. I mean, you ever take a PC VR player back in the day and hand them Move controllers? Lost, completely lost. But to us, it's like nothing, right? Because, like you said, after a while, you just get used to it and you just automatically work around things that are issues for normal people, and you go on.
Okay, I apologize. I did not catch the name. There it is. Ben L, the ghost cat, says Google took my money, waiting to see the super chat go through. I don't have it here. I looked through my supers, and it looks like it did not go through on my end. So you may be getting that. May just be a temporary hold. Let me know if there's any problems with that.
Put your comment up here. Whatever it was you said, we can still read it off, right?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And if you can help me keep an eye out for that, Wes, that would be amazing. Because
who was it? Yeah, I'll watch for it. Who was it again? I didn't catch that.
Ben L, the ghost cat.
Gotcha. I'll watch out for him.
Ben L says we turned it off and turned it back on again. It worked. That's how they figured it out. That's great. Okay, we got a couple viewer takeover questions that we're going to blast through, and then we're going to get to the topic of the show. Remember, guys, you can always leave viewer takeover questions in the viewer takeover channel over on our Discord. Click the link in the description below and come join the best fucking VR community there is. Sorry, Wes, I didn't mean to put down your awesome VR community, but ours is better. No offense. So come join us over there, and putting your questions in the viewer takeover channel means you can probably get your questions on the show without spending a single penny. And, you know, that's what we're here for, to help you save money. So let's read off Primal Sage's viewer takeover question. He writes, #viewer takeover. We are a couple years into the PSVR2 lifespan. Many great games have been released so far, which is crazy, Wes. I thought there were no games on PSVR2. What's the best PSVR2 game? No, what's the PSVR2 game you would most like to see a sequel for?
So many, Brian. And when you first kind of mentioned this concept to me, my head immediately went to PSVR1 and Farpoint.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the question, right? This is PSVR2. Sure. So it's interesting, man, because there are a few for me. But then there's a whole other category that, like, of games that I would like a sequel for that I know won't get a sequel. For example, I would love to see a newer, more realistic version of Walkabout Mini Golf. But I know that's not happening. How do I know? Because I asked them in person, face to face, are you ever going to give us a sequel that's more photorealistic? And they said, no, not in a million years. So I know that's not happening. So then my mind goes to, you know, my favorite experiences that I couldn't get enough of on VR2. And it's hard to pick one, so I'm going to give you two. I could give you five really quickly, but I'm going to give you two.
Okay.
One is more recent, Arcanage. I'd love me some more Arcanage, man. Another one of those would be awesome. But if I had to pick one, I do want to say, yeah,
before you move on from that. No. I just think we're in luck with that one, right? Because it doesn't, regardless of whether they're focusing on DLC first or Arcanage 2, it does sound like that's the plan. Is that we're gonna get more Arcanage. They created this awesome battle system, awesome VRAF interactions, and why not reuse that and build on it and make a bigger, better sequel to a game that was already great. Sorry, okay, more. What else you got?
Dude, I'd be all for like a $20 paid DLC for that, right? That's like a whole new campaign. Like, sign me up, you know.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick one, why not pick with what might be the best game in VR, period? A game that already has had a sequel. Give me the third. Give me the trifecta. Give me The Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, Chapter 3, more Retribution, with what everyone wants. Make it more open and put multiplayer in it. This is what we've asked for since the first one came out, is we want the world to be a little bit more open. We want to experience it with friends. They know that. Give it to us already. Come on.
Yeah, and I can't imagine that. I get this feeling, basically from looking at the sales charts, that Behemoth didn't do all that well, right? And so maybe go back to what works and go back to something that, like, an IP. I do think we're at this point with VR that people still need that name recognition, right? We're not getting the Call of Duties that people want. We're not getting the. I mean, I guess we did get an Assassin's Creed game, just not over here. But you know what I'm saying is, like, name brand recognition works, and so That's why I'm sure not that Metro wasn't a great game and not that Alien wasn't a great game, but those games definitely sold better because of the name recognition, because of the IP they were associated with. And these games, these Saints and Sinners games, are phenomenal. And they might not get the recognition they deserve without the Saints and Sinners, or I'm sorry, the Walking Dead brand on there. So yeah, go back to that and do more of it with multiplayer. Fuck yeah, open world.
Yes.
Fuck Quest. Sorry, I
Yeah.
didn't mean to say fuck Quest. That was mean.
They could do it, man. Like one of the very first on PC, one of the very first big titles, maybe the first big franchise, was Fallout 4 VR, and it worked. Like it wasn't like the most VR AF game in the world, but it came out in 2016. Like there was still a lot of elements from flat gaming that kind of made it over, but the facts are facts, man. That's a huge open world where if you see a building, you can go in it, and you're probably going to get killed by something that's in there. I would love to see that happen in to the Walking Dead Saints and Sinners franchise. And they don't even have to make it like a big connected open world like that, but I would like the levels that you go into to be a little bit bigger. And if I see a house, I want to be able to go in that house. Yep. I don't want areas of the map that I can't explore. So yeah, please and thank you.
I think I'm a little bit worried that mine are too expected. And I did see somebody say one of them in the chat already, so I'm going to start with the other one. But one of my favorite games since the launch of PlayStation VR2 was Propagation Paradise Hotel. These guys have technical know-how. The people at WannaDev Studio, they know how to work with PSVR2. That game was running a super smooth frame rate, no reprojection, no Mura, very little Mura, and they just made a game that was so reminiscent of the OG Resident Evil games that we don't get anymore from Capcom. We get these kind of more. I don't know, just kind of over the top, crazy umbrella stories that I'm like, I kind of checked out of the Resident Evil stories a while ago. I'm more there for the gameplay, the experience, the horror, if there is any, especially with RE7. And they kind of brought it back. And so I would love to see, especially since it kind of ended on a bit of a cliffhanger, like what Propagation Paradise Hotel 2 or Chapter 2, if they'd call it that, would consist of. I just want more of that game, more weapons and more cool bosses. The boss fights were great. I don't think this game gets the recognition it deserves. Yeah, it's really good.
Agreed. And for what it's worth, the other thing on the title of today's episode, the hidden gems, that was one of the more prominent ones that I had picked out actually. And since we're talking about it now, I'll just say that more people should recognize Propagation Paradise Hotel. It's an awesome game.
Yeah, it's crazy how good it is. And I think this is kind of an easy one, but we'll throw it out there. The people at Vertical Robot, these guys are just absolute technical geniuses when it comes to their games. And Red Matter 1 was amazing, and Red Matter 2 was even more amazing for all sorts of different reasons. And they're becoming. It sounds so dumb to say. True game developers. Let me explain, right? Because that sounds really bad. But their first game, it was amazing, but it was like, a little simple when it came to like, okay, well, you're just walking around and scanning things and solving puzzles. But it's like, that was VR at the time. And then they're like, oh, we want to add jumping mechanics and platforming and jetpacks, which is great. And platforming, I already said platforming, and shooting and stealth. And they added all that, right? And so like maybe the term I'm looking for is like more well-rounded game developers. Like they're capable of creating these full-fledged games now, which they showed with Red Matter 2. Not only they incorporate the awesome puzzles from the first game, but then they added all this other stuff. And so it's like, well, they're advancing so quickly. Comparing them to Vitruvius is, I think, is an apt comparison. And so it's like, what would a Red Matter 3 be, right? Would it be like an even bigger game with even more gameplay mechanics and even better weapons? And like, I don't even know, right? But I feel like they're going to exceed any expectations I have for it, because Red Matter 2 exceeded all expectations I had. I just have the utmost faith in Vertical Robot to make something amazing. So Red Matter 3, yes, please.
Yeah, those guys. I mean, they really excel at every facet of the game, and we're talking about a team of like what was it, like 5 to 7 people that made Red Matter 2. But not only are they getting better at kind of like the gameplay end of it, they're already technical wizards with the 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 world and the games that they're able to build. But the story is like one of my favorite part of like Red Matter. Is it's got such a cool and original story, and it has that weirdness level that I love. I mean, there's just not a lot about Red Matter that I don't love. Like it's great.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna move a little bit down the run of show here, Wes. I think we're gonna skip over a couple viewer takeover questions. Miles and I can totally tackle those on Friday because I just don't want this to turn into a 3-hour show. So let's dive into the main topic, man. Let's talk about some hidden gems on PSVR2, and the reason that this is so at the forefront of my brain is for multiple reasons. The first is because I'm stealing this idea from AJ, and I just absolutely love that. That makes me so happy. That's the only reason I did an upcoming games video, was because he was going to do one, and I was like, I'm going to do one first. I just love getting a rise out of AJ sometimes. And so it's so when he told me he might make a Hidden Gems video, I'm like, I'm going to do one first, and it's going to be GamesCast, and it's like, no editing. So here we are, Wes. We're just here to steal AJ's ideas. But that's the first
I did not know that, but that is good to know. Sorry, AJ, but
yeah, you can't blame Wes. This is all me. I hope AJ still puts out a video because it's really fun, I think, to be here for these long conversations. But you know, the real work and effort and thought goes into edited videos where you sit down and script something and you put like a lot of, you know, well-formed thoughts out there and you rank them and all that. And it means that fewer games are going to get left out in the cold. So shout out to AJ because he's always got good ideas going on. And if he does make the video, I'm looking forward to it. Also, if he didn't want me to tell people that he might be working on one, then I really fucked up big time. So, wow, I might be screwing up all over the place right now. Hopefully, don't listen. If AJ's not here, don't tell him we're doing this. How about that? We'll just go into the
AJ's always here.
Yeah.
What's up, AJ? We know you're here.
But the other reason is because obviously at some point we're doing a top 25 debate. And man, oh man, it's been really difficult. I've been trying to put together a list and I can't even, to have to throw off amazing titles off the actual top 25. I have 35 games that couldn't fit into the top 25. It's impossible. And there are some like really great games that I'm like, I don't up. What's up, AJ? We're totally not here. This is all just an illusion. This is your imagination. This is just a bad dream. So it really does bring up the question though. It's like, well, where do all these games fit if they don't belong on a top 25 list? And what is the definition of a hidden gem? Are these just games that have gone unappreciated? Are these games, especially in a library, Wes, where so many games are from smaller indie developers? Usually those are the games that are the hidden gems, but so many of the games on the top 25 list proper are from small indie devs. And so it's like, well, then there's this whole other second tier of small indie dev games that aren't going to get the recognition that they deserve. So I don't even fucking know the definition of hidden gem on PSVR2 because I think all of these great games belong in the top 25 list and they're just not going to make it. So like, where do we even start? What do we call a hidden gem on PSVR2?
The approach I took, and first of all, let me just set the stage here by saying, I saw like it was your thumbnail or something said, "Who needs AAA?" Mm-hmm. This guy right here, like that's what I want to play. So let's get that out of the way. Maybe your list is going to be full of a bunch of indie stuff, but like the top of my list are going to be the bigger budget things. Spoiler alert.
I think we're on the same page with that. We want as many AAA games as we can get. But I think unlike some people who get really frustrated at the lack of AAA games and go, fuck, PSVR2 is like dead because I'm not getting the Call of Duties game that I want. Like, so I'm not getting Uncharted VR. I'm not getting Ghost of Yote or whatever it's called. I think we have a better appreciation for indie games, right? Having been in the space for so long, being like, well, this is what the core of the library is made up of, right? And so I think that's what differentiates us from some people out there who are just looking for the Resident Evils of VR, which If Resident Evil 9 came to VR, PSVR2, without even playing it, I could tell you it would probably be my number one PSVR2 game in a heartbeat. Probably be amazing.
Right. Yeah, looking forward to that one when it finally comes. But so the approach I took to it was just games that aren't talked about. Again, games that in 2025 people don't talk about very much when they talk about what the best games on the platform are. Games that get overlooked, right? And that may be a game that comes from a bigger team, or it may be a game that comes from a smaller team. But I know that our community is a little bit more well informed on these games, so I kind of try to take that out of the equation. Like if we were talking to someone that doesn't watch all of our episodes, what games could we talk about that they might not know are really all that great? So that's kind of the approach I took to it. I do see a list that you shared here. Some of the games that you put on here, I thought about, but I thought, no, a lot of people would probably know about that one, so I didn't put it on mine. So I just tried to pick games that people either people don't know about them, or people that do know about them don't know how good they are.
And we do, while we're going through this discussion, we want to pull as many games from the chat as possible. So make sure that you guys are listing the games that you think are hidden gems on PSVR2, regardless of whether they're big AAA developers or super small indie teams. Let us know in the chat, and we'll try to talk about as many of the ones that you guys bring up as possible. But why don't you kick it off, Wes, while we wait for people to put their suggestions in?
Well, I see one at the top of your list. I see it on your thumbnail. I see it in the chat. It's on my list too. So why don't we just start with the obvious, the Light Brigade. The Light Brigade is an awesome game. One of the earlier games that got announced for PSVR 2. Not a lot of expectation for it from most people. But when it came and people got in and played it, just amazing, awesome game. Not a whole lot to criticize about it. There are things, of course, you can criticize about it, but the gameplay is awesome. The art style is awesome. The world is awesome, and it does a lot of stuff that's unique to this game. So yeah, the Light Brigade, one of the best in the catalog, and I do think I haven't worked my 25 list out yet, but I do think that the Light Brigade is one of a few titles that we're going to talk about today that could potentially end up being in the top 25. It's that good.
Yeah, agree. This is one that was really difficult, and as I was making my top 25 list, it was like if you can believe it, Wes. There was a conversation. I was in the Kitty Kondo voice chat over on Discord yesterday, talking to a bunch of people, sharing my list as I'm trying to like break it down and figure out which ones deserve to be there and which ones don't. And if you can believe it, there were so many good games on the top 25 list proper, and I had 26 games there, and trying to figure out which one needs to come off. Don't crucify me, guys. But there was a long conversation about whether this game should come off the list or if Synapse should come off the list. That's how many great.
Kidding me? You crazy.
I know. This is what I'm talking about, Wes. I don't know if you actually put together a top 25 list yet, but that's how many great games there are on PSVR 2 that when there's even a consideration that Synapse might come off the list and become an honorable mention, it's insanity. It's insanity, right? And it is, and I know people hate this when we have to start getting super critical about games that they love in order to figure out if they need to stay on the list or if something else knocks it off. But like, that's how good Light Brigade is. I guess I should put it that way. Maybe if I phrase it that way, people feel a little more accepting. But I will tell you that this is on my list of games to play this week because I have spent hours and hours with this game. But there's so many character classes to unlock, and there's so much stuff going on in this game, and there's been constant updates with so much extra content that like I'm so far behind on it that I can't even speak to this game intelligently enough to say whether it is better than Synapse. Don't hate me. I'm sorry. I love you guys.
I'll save my crucifixion of you and your disrespect for Synapse. I'll save it for that episode.
Nice.
But I will say that it's interesting that it came down to those two because I think the main criticism of both of those games is a very similar thing, right? It's scope. Like there's not enough game there. You want to have more of it. And the way that both of these developers approached giving you more game is the same thing. Like play it again. Play it again. I don't want to play it again, man. I want new content. I want new levels. Um, so yeah, it's cool that they keep adding like character classes into Light Brigade and new weapons and such, but that's not what I want. Like half of those character classes I haven't even tried.
Yeah, same.
Because I like the weapons that I like. I just want more levels to play through.
Yeah, it's what I love. When it's a good roguelite, playing through the levels again, like this happens to me all the time in Ancient Dungeon. I don't mind playing through the levels again and again because your build becomes so different every time, right? And sometimes you get this thing growing off of your wrist that's like, firing bullets, like a plant that's growing off your wrist that's firing bullets at enemies. And sometimes you're, whatever, right? You could have all sorts of different upgrades that make it feel so much different than the last time you played. And I think that's the characteristic of a great roguelite, when every time you play through the same area, it feels radically different because what you have at your disposal is radically different. And I think I think Light Brigade has that. But again, I haven't played it a lot since launch, so I've missed out on a lot. So for me, this is a hidden gem. But I honestly feel like it deserves more credit than that.
Yeah, no, it's great. Yeah, the only reason we're so disappointed that there isn't more is because what's there is so good. And there's other game modes like the I forget what their endless mode is called. It's like Sun something another. I never really got into that. That's just not my type of jam. But the game itself, like the core, like the core campaign and the progression system, like leveling up your character and weapons and things and your abilities in this game, so fun. It does have the good things that you like about roguelites, like that mid run buffs that you can get, drawing from the cards, which by the way the cards are so cool looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just so much I love about this game, that I think if anyone hasn't tried it, you should. It's awesome.
The GameCat Andrew Ehrenreich with the $10 tip says, I'm late to the stream. Been too sick to play much VR, but I've been playing an indie horror game called Luto. Luto looks really good. And Wes,
Yeah.
this would make for a great UE VR stream. Gives me Visage and Stanley Parable vibes. Fuck yeah.
Interesting that he says that and flags it out because um I have watched one VR video on YouTube today, and that was on Paradise Decay's channel. Shout out PD. And it was PD playing Luto in VR, and he's right. He's right. It's another one of these games that right down our alley, Brian. It looks like a cross between Visage and Madison, which is awesome. Perfect. Love it. Yeah, I agree. Ludo's great. I'm going to give it a little bit of time. Um, typically when you're talking about modding VR games, there's some technical like bugs and things that have to be worked out. At first, this game came out 2 days ago. So I'm going to give it a few weeks and let people kind of work out the crap for me, so I don't have to tinker with it too much. But definitely we will be taking a look at Luto at sometime in the near future.
I just saw Bitmappy in the chat. Also, Andrew Ehrenreich. Hope you feel better soon, man. Actually saw a comment from you earlier today that I responded to beneath one of our recent videos. So I don't know if you said you have the flu or what it is, but I hope you feel better soon. I saw Bitmappy in the chat talking about Rez Infinite, and here's what we got to fucking address here, Wes. This is what I'm talking about. When it comes to stuff like this, it's like Rez Infinite comes to us from Enhanced Games. Rez has been such a big title. I mean, maybe not the biggest title, but a name that a lot of people are familiar with over the years. And so, does this qualify as a hidden gem?
I left it off my list. It did cross my mind because it does seem as time goes on that some of the classic staples of VR get overlooked, and this is chief among them. Games like Rez, games like Thumper. I mean, you asked me what's the best rhythm game in VR. Thumper is the best rhythm game in VR. But they've been around for so long, and so many VR enthusiasts already know about them that I did leave it off my list. But I get it. I understand why people would bring it up, because it definitely is underrated, especially when you consider that the best version of this game, which has been on every platform, the best version of this game lives on PSVR2. And I feel like so many people were finished with this game before PSVR2 was even a thing. Give it another look. It's awesome.
Yeah, for a game that's always been so insistent on having cool and unique style haptics. I think a lot of people remember the trance vibrator, I think is what it was called on the Dreamcast. Literally like a device that just vibrated to the beat of the music that you're supposed to like shove in the seat cushions of the sofa you're sitting on to make your whole body vibrate when you're playing. And then here we are, here's a headset that's using eye tracking to help in aim with aim assisting and painting the targets, and then simultaneously having headset haptics. In some of the best haptics you've ever felt in Sense controllers. Yeah, man, the fact that I don't have an updated review for the PSVR 2 version of this or Tetris Effect on the channel means something horrible happened. And I think we all know what that horrible thing was. So he didn't send me a headset at launch so I could actually have content ready like everyone else did. But that's, but yeah, this one getting kind of lost because it's already was on PSVR 1 and already on PC, and it's been a title that's already been around for years. Maybe it is a hidden gem on PSVR 2, because like you said, everyone's kind of done with it, and they shouldn't be. It's almost like going in and experiencing a game again for the first time with like the best version. So
yeah, I hold this game in a very special regard, because not only is it, what it is, but this is one of those few games that was on the demo disc for PSVR 1. This was one of my literal first tastes of VR. Games like this, games like Rush of Blood, Here They Lie. This is in that group of games that every time I think about it or play it, like it takes me back to what was probably the most special time in my VR gaming life, or my gaming life in general. So yeah, I hold Rez in a very special place, and absolutely love it.
Yeah. What do you got? What do you got next for either your list or somebody from the chat? What do you got?
I'm going to go with one that does have a franchise tied to it. And a lot of people do know about this game, but I don't think a lot of people know just how good this game is. And that is Vampire the Masquerade Justice. Why aren't people like screaming from the rooftops how good this game is? Like, I mean, I get that it's not the most well-known franchise in the world, but this game does something that we look for when a VR game comes out. Any new VR game, we want unique mechanics. We want a game to be its own game. And I feel like this is very much that. Some of the things that you develop and unlock, abilities for your character in this game, are just so cool. And like, when you talk about stealth games, a lot of the time when you get a stealth game in VR, it's fun at first, and then it kind of gets tedious after a while and you get tired of playing it.
Yeah.
That's not the case here. Like, this is a game that it's fun to be stealthy, and it's always fun to sneak up on your enemies and dispose of them in this game. And I just feel like there's a lot going on here. I don't know if it was the timing of when it released or what, but I feel like people were just kind of played this game and were over it way too quickly. And this is a game that's among the better games in VR right now, and no one ever talks about it or says that.
Yeah, this was another one when, trying to put together a top 25 list. It was like, there was no chance it was making it on the top 25. And why? Because of all the great games that are on the top 25. But again, it feels wrong that it doesn't get more recognition. I don't remember this like really being high on the sales charts either. Like, I don't remember it, just because Fast Travel doesn't, their core team doesn't just put out games every 6 months or even every year or even every 2 years, right? They take their time. We had Apex Construct early on in the PSVR1 lifespan, and then it was years before we got Wraith the Oblivion Afterlife, and it was years before we got Vampire the Masquerade Justice. And you can tell these built from the ground up VR games are they're special to them, and they didn't just copy and paste what worked in Apex Construct, although sometimes I wish they did, because I love that game and I want Apex Construct 2, going back to the last conversation we had about sequels. Also, I want Apex Construct 1 on PSVR2. I need that too. I need so much in my life. I'm so needy, Wes. But yeah, this game is so overlooked, and I think you're right. I think it just came out at a bad time.
Yeah. I mean, that must be it, right? Like, we had this conversation recently when we were talking about maybe some of the more recent titles that are overlooked, games like Behemoth and Alien and Metro. I feel like timing is a lot, because people just kind of remember what kind of impressions they had about a game when it come out, and they never considered that, like, how much your expectations for a game impacts what your impressions are. Like I think maybe if Behemoth was a game from another studio, that it would have been received better. Or if Metro wasn't a Metro game, like if Metro wasn't a Metro game, then people would probably have received it better. And maybe that's what's going on here to some extent with this vampire game. I don't know.
Interesting. I want to give a shout out to DJ Disco Beaver in the chat, who says, Genotype, has this been mentioned yet? No, it's not, but I want to mention it right fucking now. And this is something that, I don't know why I have True Gamer for Reals footage here, but here it is. Also, shout out to True Gamer for Reals. He was the one that gave us Lies and Rain footage before I ever got my hands on it. So shout out to that dude. So yeah, but Genotype is great, dude. It was one of those games that came out during a time where it seemed like, where a lot of games were just accidentally releasing on the PlayStation Store. Like Ultra Wings 2 came out before it was ready, and this game came out before it was ready. And so, like, what do we do with this? When the game comes out and it wasn't supposed to be out for another week or two, and then you say, well, is it ready to be reviewed? Like, is it in review condition? Like, is this the game you meant for us to play? Right. And then so I played for a couple hours, and then I got swept up with other shit, and then I never got back around to it. So, so I played it for another hour this week, and immediately just fell back in love with the world. Like, the whole thing's running at 120 hertz native. So the movement's super fluid and smooth. The way that you interact with items or put things in your inventory or absorb ammo or switch weapons, it's all something different, right? Do I wish the haptics were better? Do I wish the adaptive trigger support was there? Yeah, but that's what makes it, I think, more of an underappreciated hidden gem than like an actual top 25 contender. But it's great. You have this big open world Metroidvania style game. You slowly find ways to unlock new doors and move to different areas of the facility. It's the closest we have to Dead Space in VR. Nope. It's the closest PSVR2 has to Dead Space in VR. that's rapidly changing, but it's the best we have for right now.
I think Genotype is the definition of a hidden gem, not just on PSVR2, but in general. This is a great game. This is a great game. People often criticize VR games for not having a lot of the progression and things that flat games have. It's here, man. They've got a great progression system. They've got a great world, a great story. The game looks good. It runs good. Did not sell particularly well. And for whatever reason, and it isn't because we didn't, champion it when it came out. Like, we've been very vocal about our love for this game. Here's an interesting story that I'm sure that none of you know. Surviving Mars Pioneer, the game that is coming from Flat VR Studios. It's in early access right now on other platforms. The reason why that game happened, or the association with Flat to VR, how that all happened was just, it started from a casual conversation that I was having with Bulwark Games about how we can maybe get more eyes on Genotype, because we love Genotype, and we don't think it's nearly as appreciated as it should be. So we started talking about that, and those conversations grew into larger conversations about how we could collaborate. And the result of all that actually didn't help Genotype at all, but it did bring Surviving Mars Pioneer into the fold with the company I work for. So it's a great game. Genotype is amazing. And if you haven't played it, play it now. Go buy it. It's awesome.
Yep. Also, it's, you know, again, whenever I bring this kind of stuff up, it sounds like I'm making myself sound like, you know, very self-important, or I think very highly of myself. So I want to make sure that, like, this is not what I'm trying to say here. But when you have a game that accidentally releases, and you don't get review keys out to all of the big channels that are going to help you sell your game, essentially, right? Because we're going to play the game ahead of time. We're going to have a review ready for launch. We're going to make sure that people are aware of this game, and be able to stamp a review score at the end of it saying, should you definitely buy this, instead of being like, oh, I played the first hour, I'm not really sure yet. You know, I think that makes a big difference, because it's not just without Parole. It's Wes, and it's AJ, and it's Miles, and it's every fucking other VR channel out there that also didn't get review keys for this before launch because it accidentally launched, right? And so mistakes like that can cost a lot of fucking money, right? And will keep us from being able to cover the game the way that it should be covered, the way it deserves to be covered. And so, like, you know, I whose fault was it? Was it Bulwark's game's fault? Was it PlayStation's fault? It doesn't matter. There was an accident that happened, and it caused the game to kind of not get covered the way it should have properly. We were really excited for this, and then I still haven't gotten around to beating it because of these very reasons. So, like, you know, I think there's an important message here. It's like, don't stealth launch your game. Not that that's what they were trying to do here. But, like, you know, marketing is very important, and you're probably not going to get it from PlayStation. So you got to take advantage of the people like me who are willing to give you free publicity by playing your game and reviewing it. That's all I'm saying.
This is how good Genotype is. Genotype came out on Quest the year before it came out on PlayStation VR2. When we do our year-end awards, we meet with all of our patrons and we vote for Game of the Year. We had a bit of a standoff that year as to what the Game of the Year on Quest was, and a lot of people voted for Genotype. And this is a year that had like big budget AAA stuff come out on Quest. There was a significant amount of people that voted for Genotype and stood by that. Nice. So much so that we had to kind of work it out and debate well into the night before we landed on the winner.
Definitely want to give a shout out here to Awesome Tatum, who showed up late to the chat, but would give you a shout out for playing some Ghosts of Tabor with me and AJ last night. With the level 3 membership, he says, Rainbow Reactor Fusion, great hidden gem in my opinion. Play it late at night. Enjoy the chill soundtrack, cool gameplay, and overall easygoing vibe. It's one I did not expect to be talking about today. Of all of Tuner Max's games that don't get appreciated enough, I would have said Snow Scout, but Rainbow Reactor Fusion, especially since it goes on sale for like pennies. It's crazy. Rainbow Reactor Fusion is actually a great game. Wes, bring another game into the fold. Which one are we talking about next?
Okay, let me look here.
I agree, Nick. Genotype needs a platinum, big time.
For sure. Let's I'm gonna go with one that again, another one that probably should get more love. There are other games on my list that I like more than this, but this one is very overlooked. I feel like the Last Clockwinder is one of the better puzzle games on the platform, and I don't remember what it was that it did come out around, but I do think this is another issue of timing. I think there were a lot of other great games coming out at the time that this one came out.
This was a launch title.
Well, there you go.
40 games at launch. Yeah, it was nuts.
But it's excellent. This is a game that's not developed by, but if I remember correctly, this is a game that's published by Cyan Worlds, the studio that brought Myst and Riven and all of those games, the cream of the crop puzzle games in the world of video games. And for that reason, I had a little bit of expectation on it when it came, and I was pleasantly surprised. It lived up to what I expected it to be, which is awesome. So yeah, definitely genre. It's a story-based puzzle game. If you're not into those type of games, then you probably won't be into this. But it's very well produced. The puzzles are unique, and the storytelling is great. Like it's a very good game.
Yeah, it's like Transpose. If you guys remember that on PSVR1, which was a secret location game. Whatever happened to those guys? Those guys were great, and they just disappeared.
It's a secret. It's a secret.
Well, I'll be damned. Yeah, it's kind of like Transpose, but yeah, with a story and way more fleshed out visuals. Although the style of Transpose was fantastic. Wes, I'm not gonna say much more about this because I do want to kind of rapid fire a few, just so we can get a few more games out there in the time frame that we have. And AJ, I'm gonna throw some shade at you right now, buddy. It is time to talk about Cosmodread, which is one of my favorite roguelites on PSVR2. I give it an 8.9, which I think a lot of people would think is super generous. But when I played through Cosmodread, which is the follow-up, by the way, to Dread Halls by White Door Games, this is one person. Is his name Sergio? Is that right? Am I remembering correctly? One person making these games, and it's phenomenal. I just think that the way that I played it, and I know not everybody had the same experience, but I unlocked stuff at the pace that the developers wanted me to, like just coincidentally. I unlocked audio logs at the pace they wanted me. Like I was 4 hours into the game before I found an audio log that talked about the weaknesses in the enemies that I'd been fighting, and not having no idea that there was this other thing I could be doing to take down enemies faster or better. And it's like, man, it's just like the sense of discovery in Cosmodread was just so perfectly paced for me. And it took me like, I think 8 or 9 hours to finally beat it for the first time, which was way longer than anybody else took. So for me, it was such a great experience. And also I found it to be really scary. The fact that unlike Dread Halls, you actually had to reach out with both hands and open the door. That's what I did. I don't know if you actually had to, but like you felt vulnerable because here are your hands not holding weapons, having to open a door. And that's, to me, was enough to be kind of scared to open every door. It's like, is there going to be an enemy behind this door? I don't know. But it's so cheap. It's like not even like $15 or something like that. I love this game. I want more of it.
Yeah, I like Cosmodread a lot too. I will say the thing that you love about it was kind of my biggest criticism of it. I don't think it's very well paced. I think myself and a lot of people made it through this without unlocking anything. Like there's a big system of things that you can unlock and learn how to craft. I didn't have to craft crap except for like oxygen and like the batteries and things like that. Like I didn't have to do any of that. I think it was my third or fourth run that I made almost all the way to the end on it. Like it was,
my
God. It was crazy, but I did enjoy what was there, but I felt like there was a lot of game left on the table for me that I should have experienced, but didn't.
All right, give me another one. We'll rapid fire a couple.
Let's yeah, Happy Funland.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Happy Funland because it's one of my favorite titles on the platform. Again, another game that's not for everyone, but if you love horror and you love theme parks, you're going to love this experience, man. The rides in this game are absolutely awesome. The dark rides, the roller coaster toward the end. I just love the environment of being in this park. Yeah, love Heavy Fun.
Yep, and I would say that it's come a long way since my review. They've added smooth turning. If you have a pro, it runs even better. It's in the combat, which is still not good. It's fine now. It's something to do and not. It doesn't feel like it's just kind of tacked on. It's not great, but it's good. You don't give a lot of scores, Wes. Like numerical scores. We don't ask you to do that very often. But I think I gave this like a 6.5 at launch, and I'm very hesitant to get up to the 8 territory for it. But man, the back half of the game is so good that I might have to get into that territory. This might be an 8 for me.
Yeah, that's where I am. 7.5, 8. Like like again, it's limited in genre. Like a lot of people that aren't into this sort of thing aren't going to enjoy it. For me, it's all about the environments and the experience of walking through. I mean, the story's okay too, but it's 100% about the park and being in the park. The combat, it is better. It's still like if there was no combat, I would be fine with it. Like it's not about that for me. It's all about the environment and some of the crazy shit that you see as you make your way through it.
Yeah. I'm glad it's there, though. I'm glad the combat's there. It just feels like it adds another dimension, even if it's not super polished. Moving on. I see a couple people in the chat talking about this right now, so let's talk about it right now. The old Darth and Distracted going to bat for Stilt, which, listen, man, first-person platforming with fucking springs as hands. Oh man, I almost when this was announced, I like didn't want to play it. I was like, oh, this is gonna be really bad. I can tell it's just not going to be fun. It's too goofy. You're probably not going to have like any precision going on here, right? And then you get in and it's like it's all about precision. Like it is, you have so much control with these fucking springs coming out of your hands. And the music just feels so Mario Kart inspired, and the worlds are bright and colorful, and it's just good platforming fun, and the multiplayer is just super creative and fun. I thought the multiplayer was just going to be all like 8 people racing the levels that we've already played, and it was completely new stuff. They made it into first-person shooter stuff and chasing each other. It's really good, and they keep adding stuff to it. They've added content. They've added multiplayer modes. Amazing! If you haven't checked this one out, this is a game that I think belongs in the top 25. Even if I can't find a space for it, we'll see how that conversation goes. But I love it. Thumbs up, Wes.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say something like that. I knew you were going to say something like that when you're debating whether or not to put in or to get rid of Synapse and or the Light Brigade. I knew you were going to have like badminton or Stilt or something like that in there. And this is what makes these top 25 debates so painful for me. But not to say that Stilt's bad. I enjoy Stilt. I think it's one of the better first-person platformers in VR. I really do. I'm not quite as high on it as you are, but I do agree. It's enjoyable. It's definitely a hidden gem, and it's good. I typically hate these games that have you using your hands to move around, but the adding those stilts on there makes all the difference. And no, it plays good. It has a good variety of different types of gameplay, and just the single player campaign is enough. Like that's good. It's good. It's a solid game.
I'm going to give you the final word. You pick the last game we're going to talk about, and obviously this is something we can come back to if you guys, there's going to be more slow news days in the upcoming month or so, I would assume. And so if you guys want us to come back and tackle more on this topic, we'll be happy to do that. You just let us know if this is a conversation you really enjoyed. But yeah, Wes, take us away with the final suggestion for this current list.
So hard to pick just one because
I know.
God, there's really 3 I want to say, but
well, you list 2 that you don't need to say much about, and then list 1 that you want to talk a little bit about.
Okay, I'm going to pick 2 just because they appeal to me personally. Okay. And then 1 just because it's a last gen game that did make it to this gen and hasn't gotten the attention it deserves since it came to this gen. That one, I've seen it pop up in the chat time and time again. Song in the Smoke. This is the best survival game in all of VR. It's better than Green Hell. It's better than any of them. This is the best survival game in VR. It's so unique. It's so different. And like so many other titles, the best version is on PSVR2. But it came out at a time when there were so many other titles, it got overlooked. I'm going to talk about Survive, a game that is janky as hell, but nice. It is that multiplayer zombie shooter that we all want. There's so much content in here. It actually, the port turned out surprisingly well. It's not perfect. There's a lot of jank that you still have to kind of work through, but it's a good time, especially with friends.
Big time.
And then lastly, a game that I don't think even made your list, and that just goes to show what a overlooked game it is. Overdark. I think Overdark is an excellent horror game, and it is. I mean, they don't reinvent the wheel here. It's a lot of the same stuff we've seen in the horror games of the past. But it's one of these games that takes heavy inspiration from Resident Evil. I love Resident Evil, and it's a great puzzle game with some great moments in it. So I know I didn't just mention them. I said a little bit about all of them, but that's my 3 that I really wanted to make sure I mentioned.
Overdark didn't make my list because it's number 7 on my top 25 list.
Is that true?
No, that was fucking rage bait as hell.
Okay.
I really liked Overdark. It was a lot of fun, but yeah, no, it definitely belongs on. Yeah, man, I think I'm really focused on October, and it's not even close to being here yet. Like I had Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted 1 and 2 on my hidden gems list. I deleted a bunch of them before I sent my list over to you. And so like there's so many horror games that I think go underappreciated. Like, you know, looking at things like Organ Quarter, right? Which is just like the map system alone is something I want to see more of in VR. And like it's so unique in everything that it does, despite being kind of a Silent Hill clone. And so I when I go to put Overdark on the list. Well, no, Organ Quarter needs to be on the list. Well, these Five Nights at Freddy's games need to be on the list, and it just feels like a little too much horror for the average VR gamer that aren't you and me. But yeah, but we could do a whole show, Wes, on underappreciated or hidden gem horror games. Maybe we'll do that when October rolls around.
Yeah, we'll have literally every horror game on it.
Yeah, for real. All right, hold on a second. We got some tips to get caught up on here before we move along. Let me scroll back. Grandpa's Barbecue or Game Cat with the Australian $5 tip says, why do VR games have more of a wait till sale for purchase than flat screen games? If it's a good game, support the devs. No, I want to know what he's saying. Do you think he's saying that more good gamers in our community or just overall are waiting for sales than they would if it was a flat screen game?
Yeah, we have a right. There's a culture here where people don't want to pay full price for games, and that absolutely is a thing. And I think that early adopters were spoiled because a lot of the earlier games in VR were limited in scope, and developers knew that. They priced it accordingly, and it's been hard to buck that trend now. Like, studios have tried to gradually raise the price of games, but there's so many great games that go on sale for $5, $6, $7 that people just won't pay $30 for a game anymore. And I think it's holding back VR. I honestly do. I think the fact that people won't pay $30 and $40 for a game keeps developers from making $30 and $40 VR games. They hold the scope back intentionally because they know people aren't going to buy it. So I agree. I don't know why that is. I think it's because we were spoiled from the early days of VR. But it is detrimental, and especially when there's such a limited base of people to buy the game in the first place, it hurts us that this isn't more profitable for developers.
Yeah, I agree, and it's really hard to tell people like don't wait for a sale. Like we don't know what people's financial situations are. Like we're definitely not here to be like screw putting food on the table for your kids. You gotta make sure that Vitruvius gets all your money. Right? That's not what we're trying to say. But if there is a game or studio that like you're really excited for, a studio that you really want to support, these don't have to be the daily or weekly or even monthly decisions that you make. But I do think it is important that like when you say, holy shit, like Madison VR is one of the greatest horror games I've ever experienced in VR. I want to support those guys. I want to make sure that like they get my money day one. And as somebody who gets review keys, I know that's a really fucking weird thing to say, but like I will buy, the physical version or whatever it takes in order to support these guys, or buy Madison merch. To let them know that like, hey, we like this. we want more of it. And that's certainly what I do with games on other platforms, right? I have a Switch addiction, Wes, and I just have too many Switch games. I'm never going to get around to playing all of them. So, so even though I have the luxury of not having to do it in VR, I definitely do it on other platforms. So,
yeah, and by the way, the developers do kind of they are kind of responsible for this. Games don't just go on sale; they put them on sale, right? Like, so that they've helped kind of cultivate this culture that we have of waiting till we can get a game for. I saw Rate the Oblivion Afterlife for $2 the other day. $2. I mean, nuts. No good game should be $2. That's crazy.
Right. If you have, if you have a PSVR1 headset still laying around or have it hooked up, man, we don't really cover the PSVR1 sales like we used to. But man, there's just non-stop quality content getting discounted like that to $2. So make sure you keep an eye on that stuff if you're just getting into VR now. And shout out to Comic Book Guy with £5. Didn't say anything, but thank you for the support. Man, this tip window wants to just crash constantly. You can even see like the flickering thumbs up, the flickering likes. Game Cato with the Australian $2 says, Struth Cobber, you guessed it, 90s extreme skiing for the win. Love the passion, dude. Oh my god. And also a good fucking hidden gem, I think. We were talking about Rainbow Reactor Fusion. We were talking. I mentioned Snow Scout would be the one that I would go to bat for in terms of a underappreciated hidden gem. But 90s extreme skiing ranks Sirens on my end just as high in terms of quality hidden gem stuff. So, all right, man. Let's move this along. It is time to do a little 4-minute challenge. And I don't remember if I have a game picked out or not. I don't think I do. Hey Wes, why don't you talk about one more hidden gem while I pick out a game?
Okay, I will talk about how about a newer game? How about Escaping Wonderland? Here's a perfect example of a game that you all should go buy right now. Don't wait for a sale. It's an excellent game. It's well produced. It has great storytelling in it. The character work is awesome in the game. It's very good. It almost feels like it was produced by like classic Disney or something. It's that level of production, and it's a great game that people talked about for about a day and a half, and now it's already kind of faded into the background, and no one even mentions it anymore. So go buy it. Support the devs. Quartopia Studios did an excellent job, and they deserve to be rewarded as such.
Yeah, that game. I actually want to really get back to that game because it was great. What I played the first hour or whatever was great, and yep, I definitely want to get back to it, big time. Okay, I really hope you played this one. We're gonna roll the dice, Wes. We're gonna roll the dice.
Oh no.
Yeah, but hopefully even if you haven't played it, the chat will help you out. So you guys know how this works. It's a 4-minute challenge. I've got a PSVR1 or PSVR2 game up in this fucking really dumbass head of mine. God only knows what I'm thinking at any given moment. But you guys out there and Wes up here have 4 minutes and an infinite number of yes or no questions to figure out what game that is. So make sure you ask good questions in the chat and then suggest good games that it might be based on my answer. Wes, are you ready?
No, but let's do it anyway.
Okay. On your mark, get Des, go.
Is this game on PSVR2?
Yes.
Okay, PSVR1?
No.
So PSVR, is it on other platforms?
Yes.
Steam?
Yes, I believe. I'm going to check, but yes.
Quest?
Yep.
Okay, so it's a newer
Okay.
game.
It's on Steam. I checked.
Is it playable flat?
No.
Playable flat. Is it based on a known IP?
No.
Okay. Is it first person?
Yes.
Full locomotion?
No.
Okay. Is it teleport then?
Yeah.
Node-based?
Yes.
Okay, node-based teleportation game that's on multiple platforms. Is it a shooter?
Yeah.
Okay, node-based teleport shooter on multiple platforms. Is it a zombie shooter?
No.
Zombie shooter. Okay. Is it like sci-fi themed?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Okay. Sci-fi theme. Is it like a time crisis style shooter?
I mean, you're not crouching behind things in. I would say no. I mean, you could draw comparisons, but no, that wouldn't be what I would compare it to immediately.
Okay, so
But
then it's kind of cartoony then.
yeah.
Okay. Is it a sequel?
No.
Okay. Um, Tatum, I don't even know what that game is, so probably right. Does
House
it
of Da
take
Vinci,
place
is
in
that what he's saying?
no, does it take place in space?
I don't know where it takes place. I don't think so. I would say no. No. I think it takes place on Earth.
It's on Earth. It's not Headshot Fever because it's not zombies. Is there a nightclub level in it that you know of?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, so it's not Vendetta Forever.
Nope.
Which, by the way, I'm wearing this shirt for Vendetta Forever.
Nice. Oh, I'm not. Okay.
Let's see. Is it so it's like sci-fi?
Yeah. Well, a minute and 5 seconds left.
Okay. Does it have like a retro theme to it?
No.
Man, kind of stumped here. So, node-based teleport shooter, kind of sci-fi themed. It's on all platforms. Um, are there drones to shoot in the game?
I don't think so, but maybe. I think they're all life
Yeah.
forms.
So it's not Dead Second.
No. That is very time
Is it a
crisis.
good? Is it good?
Some people like it. I am not a fan.
Give me some bad node-based shooters, people. I'm not very good at bad games. I don't play them. It's not Resist. Is there any melee in it at all?
It depends what you call melee, but you can definitely slam stuff into other stuff. That out of time, so I'm going to give you one more question and a guess.
Is this from the developers of Superhot?
No. Yes. Yes, it is. Yeah.
Is this game Harpagun, Brian?
Yes, it is. It is Harpagun. Holy shit. I did not think you were going to get that. Wow.
I didn't either.
Well done. That came together at the absolute last second. Harpagun by something random who is consisted of former Superhot developers. Yes. Holy crap. I hate this game so much. It really just, what's the opposite of fun? Because that's what I'm having with this game.
I've got it installed. I still haven't played it. I have been interested in this game since I saw it. It looks fun, but you say it sucks. But that doesn't necessarily mean it sucks because you've said that other games suck and they ended up being good. So I did install it. I haven't gotten around to trying it out yet. They have a cool concept here, like the things that they're doing with like the tether and like they've got some cool looking stuff going on here. They have a cool attitude. Like I remember some of the early store descriptions I read had me laughing out loud. So I want to try this in spite of what you say about it, but I haven't played it yet.
Yep. I mean, as always, I recommend that everybody, if you're interested in something, you check it out for yourself. Just because I don't like it does not mean we're always going to agree on everything. This is it just feels so like it's like interesting for the first 5 minutes, and then it's just like, oh, I'm so not interested in this. I think the node to node teleportation stuff really holds it back. And And you get to the first boss and you're just like, let me move around on my own. Like, what is the point of this other than the fact that they didn't want to build out the world enough for you to like explore and move around and, constantly give you these barriers to not, I can't quite figure out why they didn't just give you full locomotion. And so, so initially the whole, telekinesis guns where you pick up things with your guns and slam them into other enemies or slam them into the ground or whatever you do, it's fun, but it just feels like a one-trick pony that just never got better. And then I got to the mall level, I think it was. I went up these escalators, I killed everything in sight, and I just couldn't progress. It's like the next set of nodes never appeared. I tried it 5 times on the PS5 and then the PS5 Pro. It was broken for me at launch. And so like if I didn't already like it, I definitely didn't like it after that. So hopefully they fixed that. God, I hope they fixed that. So at least people who are buying it on sale right now for $2 are going to actually be able to play through it. That's my hope, at least. $2, Wes. $2. Ridiculous. Craziness. All right, you guys, it's time for us to get out of here. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We love you so very much. Appreciate everybody who supports the channel financially, whether it's over on patreon.com/withoutparolegames or by being a member over here or by tipping during the show. It all helps keep the lights on. We appreciate you so very much. Remember, make sure you come join our Discord. Click the link in the description below. Join Wes and his friends to talk about all VR, not just PSVR2, over on Virtual Strangers. Click that link in the description below and go subscribe to them. This is kind of a cool time, man. I like when shit settles down a little bit and we have the freedom to kind of make the videos that we want to make, and we're not constantly under some embargo for another review or whatever. But there is good stuff happening, so keep an eye out in the VR space, and soon enough there'll be some cool announcements. That's it. You guys are great. We love you so very much. Even the ones who sit back and don't say a goddamn word. We know you're out there and we love you just as much. Happy Wednesday, Wes.
Happy Wednesday, Brian. Happy Wednesday, cats. I'll see you all soon.
Let's go. But of course, we can't get out of here without checking out what happened in this week in Without Parole history. I got to scroll down and get to my backup hard drive. Today, we're going to bring you very, very far back. Wes, this is crazy. We're going so far back into the past that I kind of don't even remember these days. It's like before I was even born. What date are we going to? I lost it.
This day in PSVR history.
Here it is. July 23rd, 2021. Watch movies with friends in VR. This is the headline. And it's this. Remember this, the last video store? Do you remember the trailer for this game?
I do. This is one of those that went missing, like we were talking about earlier. One of those games that just never came.
Uh-huh. This was on PSVR 1. It was going to be like our big screen. And who knows what the fuck happened to this. But man, here we are on PSVR 2, 4 years later, still looking for the same type of app. I saw people on our Discord really kind of going to bat for this being something that they want. And I got to ask you, Wes, you're more in the know about this stuff. Because Big Screen has their own VR headset coming out, or out already, I'm sorry, right? It's out?
Yeah, they've got they're actually on their second version. They have a new headset out now.
So because of that, we're going to assume that there's no possibility of Big Screen coming to PSVR 2, or is this kind of like a platform they wouldn't mind expanding to all platforms?
I don't know, but I would imagine not. We haven't seen it by now. They're probably not. I mean, they're not really even updating it anymore, which sucks. I mean, Big Screen has a great model that I definitely think has a future in VR. It's not just an app that you can get into and, share your PC screen with friends. They give you these environments that you can sit in and move around with your friends and all watch movies or whatever, YouTube, whatever you want together. But there's also like a movie theater that they have certain certain movies on loop. Some of them are 2D, some of them are 3D. It's like a virtual movie theater. And there for a while, I don't know if they're still supporting this, but they had like newer movies you can go in and buy tickets and watch. Like there is absolutely a future for that concept in VR. But they haven't seen a lot of support from Meta, um, which I think was pretty devastating for their business model. And they pivoted off. They started producing hardware, and I think that's their focus right now. Um, I'm glad that the thing even still works on the other platforms because, like I said, they're not updating it. They haven't for a couple of years that I know of. But no, it's a shame that PSVR definitely needs an app like this. I spoke earlier about how we choose the winners for our year-end awards. I meet with Patreons. Big screen's where we meet. We all meet in VR in big screen and pick the winners. So, yeah, it's a great app. I wish it did come to PlayStation.
For sure. For sure. Yeah. It's not something I would use like, even weekly, but I could see that like, once a month if, there were options, on Amazon, sometimes there's movies still in the theater that you really want to watch and, you buy them for 20 or 30 bucks or you rent them for 15 or 20 bucks. And, yeah, I could definitely see getting a group of people together for something like that and being like, hey, we're going to watch this new movie. It's like, let's get together. And I think that would be a whole lot of fun to do that. Like on occasion, once a month, once every other month, something like that. Would be something wouldn't be a place I live, but it would be a place I would visit, at least on occasion. Real quick here, Wes, before we get out, we got GameCat, specifically White Tiger, with the Canadian $5 tip. Says, here from the past, you got to play Tabor with me or someone else more season to get past the bugs, as there are tricks to bypass the issues. It's awesome. Listen, I'm glad I experienced the bugs, right? Because I think that's an essential thing to note. For people who are getting into the game who don't have experienced people to play with. And I'm really, really happy that I experienced them so that I have a better view of what's going on. If I jumped in immediately with you guys, I wouldn't even know they exist. And I think it's important to note that they exist. But also thrilled that you guys are here and, willing to help us work around them. So I'm down. I'm going to play some more tonight, and I will be in touch with some of the people in our community, and hopefully I'll get a chance to play with you guys.
It's definitely part of the experience, the bugs.
All right. Thanks again, Wes, and good night, everybody. We love you all.
Bye.